Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 472 based on novel. So let's start. If it was in the past, it would have immediately caused the formation spirit to appear. However, the arrow was releasing a crazed whirl. This crazed pressure seemed to make the formation spirits retreat. It was as if they were afraid to appear. As the realm ceiling formation trembled, the 500 feet gap seemed to stop closing as if it was frozen. It allowed the white arrow to shoot straight at Wang Lin. Wang Lin was in a state of high concentration and seemed to have forgotten everything beside the white arrow. As he retreated, his body rapidly dissipated. The intense pain from between his eyebrows spread. It was as if a pair of invisible hands wanted to rip open his skull. The white arrow howled as it rushed through the realm ceiling formation and was less than 10,000 feet from Wang Lin. The howling of the arrow was extremely sharp. The killing intent inside this sound caused the cultivators in the inner realm to turn pale. The 1,000-foot distance was really insignificant. As the roar echoed, the 7-star ancient order head before Wang Lin began to distort violently. It was as if an indescribable power was closing in. This arrow was shooting to kill. In an instant, the arrow closed in and charged into the ancient order head. As the thunderous rumble echoed, not even Wang Lin's ancient order head was able to resist for long. The head was penetrated and the arrow was about to break through toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's body hadn't completely integrated with the world. As the white arrow closed in, the feeling of a life and death crisis increased. Wang Lin revealed a determined gaze and waved his hand. His ancient god body's hands went into the ancient order head and grabbed the white phantom arrow. The moment his hands touched the white arrow, Wang Lin felt a powerful force enter his body. Even his 7-star ancient god body felt it difficult to deal with this. His body trembled and he coughed out blood. He was forced out from being half-merged with the world and to retreat. Every step he took covered several dozen feet and would cause a thunderous rumble. Wang Lin had a fierce expression as he clung onto the arrow and retreated more than 10,000 feet. Blood continued to flow out as he retreated these 10,000 feet. He was already injured, and now his injuries were worse. Thunderous rumbles sounded once more. Wang Lin stepped into the area the outer realm cultivators were being sealed by the ancient leaves. The moment he entered, a large amount of black fog came out of his back. As soon as an outer realm cultivator touched the black fog, their body would wither as all their life force had been drained away by Wang Lin. All of this happened in a flash. Just as Wang Lin was resisting the arrow using this method, the man in white outside the realm ceiling formation became gloomy and drew the bow once more. It should be over. As the young man spoke those 4 words, his face rapidly aged from a youth to an old man. His hand that had pulled the bow to a full moon loosened and a second white arrow shot out. A sharp howl charged into the gap in the realm ceiling formation with the arrow, heading toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin was already at a disadvantage while facing 1 arrow. 2 arrows was life and death for him. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. The fire in his left eye rotated like crazy and the thunder in his right eye flickered madly. The essences in his body suddenly erupted. It was too late to think too much right now. He only knew that if he didn't destroy this arrow in his hand before the second arrow arrived, he would die. A frenzied aura suddenly appeared in the Cloud Sea star system and charged over. When the aura got near, the shadow of a barefoot middle-aged man appeared before Wang Lin. Wang Lin knew this barefoot man. It was the powerful fierce beast that was sealed by the last lord of the sealed realm, Tai Aluo. He had chosen to face the second arrow for some unknown reason, buying Wang Lin precious time for a chance to survive. The moment he appeared, he let out a heaven-shaking roar. His hands formed a seal and he stepped toward the second arrow. As his hands formed seals, fine scales began to appear around Tai Aluo. These scales were thin and black, and they soon covered his body. "I can only delay it for 3 breaths for you." A thunderous rumble echoed when his hands collided with the arrow. A shocking force came from the arrow and entered his body. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth and his arms began to distort. It was as if he couldn't withstand the arrow and was about to be pierced through. He let out a roar, and as his body trembled, the scales on his body flew off. These scales suddenly formed a shield. There were 3 strange, golden scales at the center of the shield. His hands that were holding off the arrow collapsed into a bloody mess. Then the second arrow rushed out and collided with the scale shield. A heaven-shaking rumble echoed. The scale shield trembled and the scales along the edges collapsed. In a flash, only the 3 golden scales remained. This lasted 1 breath. These 3 golden scales collapsed in 2 breaths, and Tai Aluo retreated with a bitter smile. The second arrow wasn't targeted at him, so he was able to retreat when he was no match. Tai Aluo had done as he promised and delayed for 3 breaths. These 3 breaths were extremely precious to Wang Lin. During the first breath, Wang Lin had bitten the top of this tongue and spat out a mist of blood before him. During the second breath, the destructive fire from the realm-burning umbrella gathered toward Wang Lin from all directions. The fire surrounded him and fused with the blood before him. This formed a destructive force, and it confronted the arrow he had clenched in his hand. During the third breath, the black fog behind Wang Lin spread out like crazy toward the outer realm cultivators behind him. At the end of the 3 breaths, the arrow collided with the destructive fire fused with Wang Lin's ancient order blood. The arrow disintegrated layer by layer, but the impact was still terrifying. After disintegrating, the arrow only carried 20% of its original power. It broke through the blockade formed by Wang Lin's hand and shot toward the area between his eyebrows. During this process, the arrow disintegrated even more until it was 3 inches from Wang Lin's brow and was only 10% of its original size. A thunderous bang rang out when the very small residual of the arrow collided with the area between Wang Lin's eyebrows. Miserable screams echoed across the world. It wasn't from Wang Lin but from the outer realm cultivators behind him. All the outer realm cultivators surrounded by the black fog withered into dried-up corpses. The broken arrow collapsed and Wang Lin's body was soaked in sweat. However, the danger was not over. The second arrow was closing in. It was impossible to avoid it. Wang Lin revealed a crazed expression. He let out a roar and his right hand pointed at the sky. At this critical moment, he couldn't care about the consequences anymore. His right hand reached out and the umbrella flew toward him while shrinking. Wang Lin then grabbed the handle of the umbrella. Holding it in his grasp, Wang Lin's life force rapidly flowed into the ancient umbrella. His ancient god body was filled with life. At this moment of danger, he didn't have time to think. His ancient god body immediately showed signs of withering. The umbrella was originally opened 10%. At this moment, as Wang Lin was injecting life force into it like crazy, the monstrous fire inside raged. When the second arrow was less than 100 feet away, Wang Lin let out a roar and mercilessly pushed the umbrella open. 20%. At this instant, the ancient umbrella was opened 20% by Wang Lin's suicidal method. The destructive fire that could burn space itself rushed out from the umbrella. The space around Wang Lin collapsed before the sea of fire as if it was being refined, revealing the void below. When the second arrow closed in, it collided with the umbrella that was open 20%. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the second arrow trembled as if it was going to melt. However, a force came from the bow that caused the arrow to pierce through the sea of fire and struggle to close in on Wang Lin. All of this happened in an instant. A 100 feet distance could be crossed in an instant by a cultivator, much less the arrow. Wang Lin's body was already withered, but at this moment, he injected even more vitality into the umbrella. He looked like an old ancient god near the end of his life. His powerful body was now like a corpse. The realm-burning umbrella absorbed more vitality and opened up even more as Wang Lin let out a shocking roar. Although it hadn't reached 30%, it was infinitely close. As a result, the fire that came out became even more terrifying. The second arrow collapsed 10 feet away from Wang Lin. However, as it collapsed, the power from the bow rushed out and collided with Wang Lin's chest. That caused a thunderous bang. Wang Lin coughed out blood and a tearing pain came from his chest. This intense pain caused him to rapidly retreat as he coughed out blood. However, as he retreated, his eyes lit up. He hadn't been seriously injured in a long time, and this injury had caused his killing intent to soar. He waved his hand as he retreated and a monstrous bloodlight appeared. The blood sword appeared. It could destroy anything, but only if they were corporeal. If put up against the white arrow made of vitality, it didn't have much use. The blood sword flew out toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation that was now less than 200 feet wide. However, at this moment, Wang Lin grabbed it, suppressed his killing intent, and dissolved this impulse. There is something wrong with this. I have failed to kill that person and to lure him out. The cultivator in white that had already become an old man was filled with disbelief and his expression was gloomy. He was amazed at how he couldn't kill Wang Lin after shooting 2 arrows. At this point he had already lost too much vitality and could only sigh in his heart with a sense of pity. He coldly looked at Wang Lin through the realm ceiling formation before turning to walk away. However, just as he retreated, demonic energy came from the Cloud Sea star system. This demonic energy was extremely fast, it was on par with the speed of the arrow from before. As the demonic energy spread, the ancient demon from the ghost sect appeared as a phantom near the realm ceiling formation. The 9 stars in his left eye rotated. His eyes were filled with greed as he stared at the bow in the old man's hand. However, his body was only a phantom, meaning his real body hadn't come. Although he had 9 stars in his eye, they were a mere projection. While grinning, he closed in on the cultivator in white and mercilessly clawed at him. He had waited for this opportunity for some time. In truth, he was already here when the cultivator in white appeared, but he was afraid of the bow's power, so he had waited until the old man was about to leave. As the 9-star ancient demon closed in on the cultivator in white, he suddenly turned around and revealed a smile that wasn't a smile. The big fish didn't come, but a small fish came. An invisible pressure spread out from the ancient star system. It turned into an invisible palm print that silently pressed down. The expression of the 9-star ancient demon's avatar changed and the greed in his eyes suddenly disappeared. He screamed and anxiously retreated to avoid the palm. However, he was too slow and was grabbed by the palm before he could return to the realm ceiling formation. The palm mercilessly squeezed and the 9-star ancient demon's avatar collapsed into a large amount of demonic energy. The palm absorbed all the demonic energy and then disappeared. The sovereign's head disciple, Feng Yi, came on the order of my teacher to send this bow to the fellow cultivators of the inner realm. The bow is here. The 2 arrows were meant to show the power of this bow. If anyone is confident, you can try to take it. The cultivator in white clasped his hands and let go of the bow. The bow floated before the gap in the realm ceiling formation. A soft light came from the bow. It gave off an attraction that would make one crazy. Teacher has passed down the order to give the inner realm 3 chances to take this bow. You must send back 30% of our outer realm cultivators for each try. Do you guys want it or not? There was killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes. If he hadn't made the Nether beast his life essence beast, then opening the umbrella light that would have expended 90% of his life force. However, even with the Nether beast, he couldn't do it often. Although the Nether beast had nearly endless vitality, it still couldn't withstand the crazy consumption of the ancient umbrella. What is the sovereign doing this for? He seems to be a little scared. He wants to use this bow to lure someone to appear. The inner realm was completely silent. The 3rd step cultivators battling Master South Cloud and Master Hongshan had retreated from the battle. They looked coldly from the side. However, the red celestial imperial concubine had a gloomy expression. She didn't know this bow would appear, and after hearing Feng Yi's words, a slight hint of anger appeared on her face. She knew that she had become someone's pawn. The red celestial imperial concubine let out a cold snort and looked at Purple Dream from the summoned river. She no longer looked at anyone else and flew toward the gap in the realm ceiling formation. No one stopped her, and Master South Cloud's eyes lit up. The red celestial imperial concubine had entered the ancient star system and disappeared without a trace. As for the cold-looking boy and the rest, they silently pondered as they retreated and left through the gap one by one. What? No fellow inner realm cultivator would dare to take this bow. The sovereign's head disciple shook his head and looked at the inner realm cultivators. The gap in the realm ceiling formation had recovered to 100 feet and the edge of the formation was about to close completely. However, when it was less than 70 feet wide, the huge palm that had collapsed suddenly reappeared and grabbed the realm ceiling formation. Thunderous rumbles echoed as it used great force to tear at the gap. The gap that had almost healed was ripped open several thousand feet. The thunderous rumble was deafening, and an irresistible pressure came from the hand. Master Hongshan and company were shocked by this pressure and quickly retreated. Wang Lin's face was also pale. He was forced to retreat several thousand feet due to the pressure. Master Hongshan's eyes turned cold. As he retreated, he took a step forward and waved his right hand. Red light appeared and shot toward the palm that was tearing the gap in the realm ceiling formation open. At the same time, Master South Cloud hit his forehead with his palm. His body trembled and shadows of clouds appeared behind him. These clouds condensed into statues that lined up to form a formation. They followed after Master Hongshan's red light toward the huge palm. The summoned river's purple dream, the beautiful middle-aged woman, Master Lu Fu, and Tai Aluo all attacked at the same time. Various spells flew out and fused with Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud spells, forming a heaven-shaking storm that flew toward the giant palm, ripping open the formation. With Wang Lin's command, esteemed Ling Dong and Zhu Jin also launched their spells. It could be said that all the third-step cultivators of the inner realm had launched their spells to create this storm. Wang Lin's ancient god stars rotated rapidly and he waved his right hand. The ancient god head appeared and suddenly turned into a huge fist. The fist was covered in fire and thunder. Thunderous rumbles echoed as it fused with the storm, creating the most powerful blow from the inner realm, and shot toward the palm. In a flash, the most powerful attack from the inner realm collided with the palm. The moment they collided, a powerful demonic energy came from the inner realm to form the 9-star ancient demon. His eyes were filled with hatred as he opened his mouth and spat out demonic energy. This demonic energy turned into a huge, demonic dragon and shot forward. The moment the demonic dragon flew out, the 9 ancient demon stars flew out from his left eye and fused with the demonic dragon. It fused with the storm and shot toward the palm. Thunderous rumbles shook the star system. Everyone in the inner and outer realms could hear this clearly. The storm collided with the palm, creating a boundless shockwave that scattered in all directions. As the thunderous rumbles echoed, Master Hongshan and company coughed out blood and quickly retreated. Under the powerful impact, 4 of the 5 fingers immediately collapsed. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's ancient order punch arrived, landing on the last finger. Thunderous rumbles echoed and Wang Lin's body trembled and blood flowed down from the corner of his mouth. Pain came from his right hand as if the bones were broken. He retreated once more. When the last finger on the palm was hit by Wang Lin's ancient order punch, it showed signs of collapse. At this moment, the demonic dragon from the 9-star ancient demon landed and the last finger collapsed. Only the palm remained, and it was knocked back by the joint attack of all the third-step cultivators from the inner realm. The shockwave spread into the realm ceiling formation. This caused the formation to tremble and the gap to expand rapidly. During the shockwave, the bow was still floating there, as if this force was insignificant before it. The soft light around it merely distorted a bit. The palm that had lost the 5 fingers released a 5-colored light. It looked as if the 5 fingers were going to regenerate. However, just at this moment, a shocking change occurred. The space behind Wang Lin and the others trembled. A roar powerful enough to shock anyone came from the inner realm behind them. The roar seemed to be a universe away, but in a flash it became monstrous. The expressions of Master Hongshan and company changed greatly. Wang Lin also looked back. He saw a scene he could not forget in his life. 9 burning cultivation planets, 9 cultivation planets burning like the sun flew through the star system. Space itself shattered due to their speed and countless ripples spread due to their hot temperature. They moved very fast and closed in a flash. They charged toward the bow that was floating outside the realm ceiling formation. The giant palm that was recovering waved and blocked before the bow. It collided with the first burning planet. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the first burning planet turned into a powerful force. When it collided with the palm, it collapsed, and the powerful impact forced the palm to retreat. However, before it retreated 10,000 feet, the second planet arrived and the palm retreated once more. The third cultivation planet closed in and collided with the palm. The giant palm trembled and suddenly exploded. When it exploded, a black-robed shadow walked out. The black-robed shadow was the sovereign that Wang Lin had seen outside the ancient order tomb. After he appeared, he didn't say a word and he waved his hand. A bright light came from his withered hand. It was as if his hand had become the first eternal light in this world. His raised right hand pressed down on the fourth cultivation planet. A thunderous rumble echoed and the fourth planet collapsed, but the black-robed shadow also retreated a few steps, and the light in his hand collapsed. The fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth planets all arrived at the same time. When they got close to the black-robed shadow, they all exploded at once, forming an indescribable impact that spread in the ancient star system. A heat wave spread into the depths of the ancient star system. As the heat wave passed, the starry sky shattered. The black-robed shadow was pushed back and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. It was as if his body was going to be ripped apart. "You're not dead." A hoarse voice filled with shock came from the person in black. "I'm not dead." A voice that came from an unknown place in the inner realm rushed out into the outer realm like crazy. The ninth burning planet smashed down on the black-robed shadow. The black-robed shadow let out a roar and his hand quickly formed a seal. A giant well appeared behind him and there was a crescent moon reflected in the well. At this moment, the black-robed shadow's dried-up left hand reached into the well water. He fished up the crescent moon from the well. One couldn't tell if he had fished up the well water or the crescent moon. In short, there was a large amount of water, and inside the water was a crescent moon. After he fished it out, the black-robed shadow waved his hand and the well water flew toward the ninth planet. The two immediately collided, but the well water quickly evaporated. In a flash, the well water was turned into white gas. However, at the same time, the cultivation planet was torn to pieces. One could clearly see a crescent moon mark appear on the planet. This mark penetrated the planet, causing it to collapse and pierce into the void. Back then, when I slaughtered my way into the outer realm, none of the 5 masters were my match, and I stole a large amount of Joss flames. Today we meet again, and you're still so weak? The voice was ancient, but it was extremely domineering. The moment the voice finished speaking, a blurry figure appeared where the crescent moon was going to land. The figure waved his right hand and wrote down the word, battle. The word, battle, caused the crescent moon to collapse. People only know that he used the power of a roar to drive you out, but they don't know about the warning within that roar. If you dare to take a step into the inner realm, you will without a doubt die. You are as timid as a mouse. Little palm print servant boy, you dare to call yourself sovereign. Aside from members of the Li family, no one else can make it recognize it as their owner. Since you have taken it out as bait, this old man will accept it. The blurry figure's voice was calm, and he stepped toward the bow that was floating there. Old Ghost John. You're still not dead. The black-robed shadow raised his head. The top part of the robe was torn into pieces, revealing the face below. It was an extremely old face filled with wrinkles. It was as if his body had been alive for far too long. Those wrinkles were like gullies, and they gave off an ancient aura. There was a mark between his eyebrows. This mark looked like a scar, as if someone had branded him countless years ago. As for the shape of this mark, no one could see it clearly. Although this person was old, there was not a single hair on his face. It was as if hair would never grow on his face, or should never appear on his face. Sovereign, little palm print servant boy. His face was pale as he stared at old Ghost John. His eyes were filled with endless hatred, but he didn't dare to open his mouth. He grabbed his head disciple and quickly escaped. The vague figure closed in on the bow floating there. He raised his right hand and reached toward the bow. Just as he was about to grab it, the blurry figure exclaimed lightly. His expression seemed to change, but he didn't withdraw his right hand but reached out even faster. The string of the bow was pulled straight, but at the end, a 7-colored light flashed. As the 7-colored light flashed, the string of the bow snapped. There are indeed 7 colors. The blurry figure's eyes shined brightly. There was a buzz and a miserable roar came from the broken string. The 7-colored light flew out along with the arc formed by the broken string. The bowstring was originally not long, but at this moment, it extended indefinitely. Everything within the arc was separated from normal space. The eyes of the blurry old man let out a cold snort as he grabbed the bow and threw it back into the inner realm. At the same time, he quickly retreated, but he was cut off by the bowstring. Normally, he wouldn't care, but the bowstring gave off a 7-colored light. He raised his right hand and wrote the word, battle, 7 times in a row. The moment the 7 words appeared, they were broken by the bowstring. When the 7 words shattered, the old man's expression became solemn. He spat out a mouthful of white energy and formed a white word, battle. The bowstring closed in and collided with the white word, causing it to pause for a moment. During this pause, the blurry figure retreated back into the realm ceiling formation. 7-colored Daoist, you really did attack. This was your third and last chance. Million Cultivation Spirit Print. Since you have taken the initiative to break the seal, this old man will wait. The moment he entered the realm ceiling formation, the white word dissipated and the bowstring lashed out on the realm ceiling formation. The formation trembled. Before the formation spirits could appear, a large crack appeared within the formation and the bowstring entered the inner realm. The ones closest to the realm ceiling formation were not the summoned river or all heaven cultivators but the tens of thousands of outer realm invaders that were trapped by Wang Lin's ancient leaves. At this moment, the bowstring lashed out into the area sealed by the ancient leaves. There were no miserable screams, as it happened too fast. Only after the bowstring had swept past did the tens of thousands of outer realm cultivators collapse. The bowstring was not something they could withstand, and they were cut in half. The blurry old ghost John revealed a sneer and disappeared without a trace when the bowstring closed in. He had appeared suddenly and left just as suddenly. It was as if he had only come to confirm something and bring the bow into the inner realm at the same time. From when he arrived to the moment he left, he never even looked at the bow. There was no need to mention the cultivators here. Including Wang Lin, all of them were irrelevant, like ants. If this bow recognizes an owner, it is a treasure. If not, it will take life force to use and it will be extremely weak. If any one of you likes it, you can take it to play. His voice echoed and slowly dissipated. All of this happened in an instant. The bowstring snapped, the realm ceiling formation collapsed, and countless people died. The bowstring seemed to have released all its power, and the broken string followed where the bow was thrown by old Ghost John into the inner realm. It just happened to go toward Wang Lin. Was this a coincidence or not? To take or not to take? These two decisions suddenly appeared in Wang Lin's mind as he watched the bow closing in. The bowstring had lost some power, but it was still flailing around, causing the space around it to collapse. This bow, I'll take it. Wang Lin revealed a deceived gaze. He was very close to the bow, and at this moment, he stepped forward and reached for it. He grabbed the bow. The moment he grabbed the bow, a powerful force entered his right hand. His right hand collapsed under this powerful force. Blood splattered everywhere and the bow was about to fly off. Madness appeared in Wang Lin's eyes and his left hand grabbed the bow. His left arm rumbled and became a bloody mess, but it didn't collapse. However, when he caught the bowstring lashed out toward his waist and penetrated through. Intense pain washed over him like a wave. Under this pain, even Wang Lin let out a miserable scream. A crack appeared on his waist and his body below his waist separated from his upper half. His body was split in half by the bowstring. The body below his waist collapsed into a bloody mess. Wang Lin's face turned pale and he was thrown back. His vision was blurry. The price of obtaining the bow was too great. As Wang Lin was thrown back by the bow, he clearly felt it emit a powerful rejection force. It was as if no one else could make it recognize them as its owner. If you wanted to control this bow, you would have offered it your life force. Otherwise, even if you held it in your hands, you couldn't draw it. When Wang Lin felt the stubborn aura from the bow, the intense pain caused him to cough out blood. Only his upper body remained. Aside from when he went into the Ancient Order tomb, this kind of injury was rare. The Nether Beast had been asleep since devouring the Golden Storm, but it was still connected to Wang Lin. This intense pain entered its mind and caused the sleeping Nether Beast to awaken at this moment. The moment it awakened, a ray of ghostly light flew out from Wang Lin's body. At first it was not big, but it soon grew very large. The Nether Beast's huge body suddenly appeared in this chaotic space. Feeling this intense pain, the Nether Beast seemed to forget its fear and let out a heaven-shaking roar. It opened its mouth, but not to devour. Instead, a monstrous, golden light seemed to release along with the roar. Golden Storm. The golden storm it devoured but hadn't managed to digest was spat out. This golden light soon made it so it was impossible to see anything else. The golden light rapidly expanded as it was ejected and flew toward the realm ceiling formation. This golden storm was strong enough to destroy a star system, and almost no one could resist it. The Sovereign's expression changed greatly, especially after he saw the Nether Beast. His eyes were filled with excitement and terror. As thunderous rumbles echoed, the golden storm charged into the realm ceiling formation and erupted outward. A destructive force suddenly erupted. The expressions of the summoned river, all heaven, and cloud sea cultivators turned pale. The eyes of Master Hongshan and company turned red. They desperately used spells to move these tens of thousands of cultivators by force. In the blink of an eye, no inner realm cultivator remained in this battlefield. All the inner realm cultivators were moved away by Master Hongshan and company. Even they themselves had left in an instant. As for Wang Lin, they wanted to save him, but he was at the place where the golden storm was spat out, so they couldn't approach due to the destructive power. Esteemed Ling Dong and Zhu Jin had to retreat and leave when the golden storm erupted. As the golden storm spread, the realm ceiling formation collapsed on a wide scale. The jade rapidly dissipated and spread into the realm ceiling formation. When the jade left, the palace lord of the Heaven Punishment Palace was free. However, as soon as he broke free, he was devoured by the golden storm. He didn't scream at all before his origin soul, Joss flames, and everything vanished. The ancient star system outside the realm ceiling formation was affected by the golden storm as well, and a widespread collapse occurred. After a long time, a monstrous roar echoed and the entire battlefield was shrouded in the golden storm with the realm ceiling formation as the center. Within the golden storm, the realm ceiling formation collapsed, the outer realm space collapsed, and the inner realm space collapsed. This golden storm expanded to a certain degree before releasing a bang that could be heard throughout the entire inner and outer realms before it completely exploded. After the storm passed, the first battlefield turned into a giant black hole that spanned countless miles and blocked the hole in the realm ceiling formation. After the Nether Beast spat out the golden storm, it had opened its mouth and devoured Wang Lin and the bow. When the destructive force started spreading, it had turned into a mustard seed, and disappeared. Rumbling roars continued to come out of the large black hole that was sealing the opening between the inner and outer realms. This sound would linger for the next 10, 100, 1,000, tens of thousand years, and it showed no signs of dissipating. The first battle ended in such a bizarre way. Okay, when describing this skill for the Nether Beast I was kinda confused. I thought it was something that made it invisible, but the wording turned out to be rather direct. It literally either turns into a mustard seed or I guess shrinks until it's as small as a mustard seed. This video will end here.